Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and welcome to the first video of today, Week 3 tight end rankings for fantasy football in 2020. We are going to be discussing the top 20 tight ends for week number 3 of the 2020 fantasy football season. Why I have guys ranked, why I do, why I like some guys, why I don't like some guys. We are going to discuss that all in today's video. So if at any point inside of this video you end up being like, you know what, this was excellent, I had a very fun time, and it was informative, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win your 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. Before we get into it, though, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. Overlay DFS has introduced a new fantasy football game for the 2020 fantasy football season. It is called the Matchup Shop. It is the player versus player game that includes real-life aspects of betting with the spread. So pretty much it's fantasy points of a player versus fantasy points of another player, just with the addition of the spread. So in this scenario right here, we have Matt Ryan versus Mitch Trubisky. If you bet Mitch Trubisky, you get an additional 8.5 fantasy points, whereas if you bet Matt Ryan, you lose negative 8.5 fantasy points for that game. Who wins head-to-head with the spread is going to be the winner. It is very simple. Anyone can figure it out. Even I can win on there. So thank you guys all for listening to this spiel real quick. Make sure you guys check it out, because you guys do all that research and you want to win some money with it. Make sure you check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. And we are back. Please make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right into it. Week 3 tight end rankings. We begin here with tight ends 1 all the way through 10. At tight end 1, we have Travis Kelce for this week. Now, Kittle did have a good matchup, but it seems like he is not going to be playing. Actually, reports are now that he is not going to be playing at all for week number 3, so he's obviously out of the rankings. Darren Waller, also slightly lower, because I don't know if he's going to be playing now. He says he's going to be playing, but that doesn't necessarily mean he will be playing. Just understand that, okay? That's why I got him ranked slightly lower. If he plays, he's a top 5 guy to me. So at number 1, we have Travis Kelce up against the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, this is a tougher matchup. The Ravens defense is pretty good, but Travis Kelce is Patrick Mahomes' side chick, I guess, or his best friend on the fucking field. He just heaves the ball to Travis Kelce all types of time up against the Baltimore Ravens. Last year, Travis Kelce put up quite the game, and I think we see him heavily utilized as well this week. At number 2, we have the tight end on the other side of the field, Mark Andrews, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 1, the guy went to Pound Town up against the Cleveland Browns in Baltimore. I was going to say in the dog pound, because it would be funny to go to Pound Town in the dog pound, but that's not what happened. Then week 2 against the Houston Texans, doesn't play too well. Really disappoints. Only scored a couple of fantasy points. Now, up against the Kansas City Chiefs, he looks to have that bounce back game, and I expect him to. The guy is one of the most likely to get the ball thrown to by Lamar Jackson every single time he drops back. He's not even a wide receiver, and that's who Lamar Jackson typically looks to, so I like Mark Andrews, especially this week up against the Kansas City Chiefs in a higher scoring affair. At number 3, we have Tyler Higbee going up against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Last week, Tyler Higbee went absolutely crazy, scored a zillion touchdowns, scored a million fantasy football points. Now he gets the Buffalo Bills. So obviously kind of a tougher roll of the dice going up against a tougher defense. But hey, Jared Goff loves to throw on the ball. And if Robert Woods is to get locked up potentially in this game and not play as well, we could really see Tyler Higbee have another fantastic game here up against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. At number 4, we have Zach Ertz going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. That Cincinnati Bengals defense is atrocious. It is so bad that we saw the Browns absolutely destroyed them. They bent them over and gave them a whole new asshole. All right, that's what happened. Now, Zach Ertz did not play all that well last week, but I expect a big bounce-back game here up against the Cincinnati Bengals, especially since Jalen Reagor, their number 1 wide receiver, is fucking out for 4 weeks. So it seems like Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert are definitely going to be getting a heavy dosage of usage inside of this game. At number 5, we have Geno Smith going up against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Now, last week, we saw Ryan Tannehill do what Ryan Tannehill does best, 4 fucking tutties, a case of let's run the ball, but let's also throw it with Ryan Tannehill. This is what's going to happen this week, I believe, up against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings' pass defense is atrocious. Whoever's going to try to cover Geno Smith is going to look like a goddamn idiot, because they are going to get destroyed. Geno Smith put up 2 great weeks, back-to-back Michael Jordan 96-97, and up against the Minnesota Vikings, I expect nothing less than excellence from Geno Smith. But understand, Geno, Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, all very close in my opinion on the week. Kind of like how Kelce and Andrews are close and how Higbee and Ertz are very close. At number 6, we have Hunter Henry going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, this is a absolutely juicy matchup for Hunter Henry and the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert, now the starting quarterback of the team, because apparently the team doctor hates Tyrod Taylor and took his lung out. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Hunter Henry looked pretty good last week with Justin Herbert, the pervert, as the quarterback. The Carolina Panthers defense is soft serve ice cream. Hunter Henry should be able to eat that ice cream with extra sprinkles on Sunday. Next guy here, we got Hayden Hurst going up against the Chicago Bears. Now, week 1, Hayden Hurst took a duty straight on your face, straight on the bed. He shit the bed, and he didn't even pick it up, and then he just shit on it twice, and he slept in it. All right, week 2, the guy balls out. Hayden Hurst is very involved in this Atlanta Falcons offense if Julio Jones was to miss on Sunday. Now, right now, he is a game-time decision. So you're watching this on Saturday. We won't have any idea until Sunday morning if Julio Jones is going to be good to go or not. So if Julio Jones plays, I like him. If Julio Jones doesn't play, I feel like I like him even more since there will be less guys to throw the ball to. Hayden Hurst is a red zone monster. Matt Ryan looks at him when driving up the field, and up against the Chicago Bears, sure, I understand it is a tougher matchup against the tight end, but I still think Hayden Hurst gets it done strictly through the amount of volume that Matt Ryan throws out during the game. You get a pass. You get a pass. You all get a pass. Oprah Winfrey style. At number 8, we have Jared Cook going up against the Green Bay Packers. Now, Jared Goff really disappointed last week up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, it wasn't really disappointing because he ended up getting a tutty in that game, so he didn't completely shit the bed, but didn't play all that well. I expect a better game here out of him versus Green Bay. I do not expect Michael Thomas to play in this game, and Drew Brees looked atrocious. Atrocious throwing deep down the field, and Jared Cook obviously not going to be super deep down the field, going to be right next to him. At number 9, we have Noah Fant going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Jeff Driscoll likely going to be the starting quarterback in this game with the COVID protocols. I'm pretty sure it just can't be Blake Bortles due to like when he can get into like the facilities and stuff due to Corona. With that said, Noah Fant I like in this game, even without horsecock Drew Lock. Noah Fant seemed to play pretty well last week with Jeff Driscoll. Noah Fant has been one of the better tight ends on the year. Without Cortland Sutton, it seems like the role is very defined for Noah Fant to have an excellent season in 2020 and an excellent week up against the Buccaneers. At number 10, we have Darren Waller, the Walrus, going up against the New England Patriots. Now, Darren Waller absolutely dug the New England Patriots a grave last week. It was pretty crazy, to be honest with you. Darren Waller played amazing up against that New Orleans Saints defense. He had like a zillion catches, a zillion yards. He was doing everything right out there, and I expect if he plays, we see a heavy dosage of him as well with Derek Carr. It seems like Darren Waller is that nice safety net for Derek Carr, so I feel like if he is healthy, if he's good to go, if there's nothing wrong with the knee or with the leg, I believe, that is hurting him, he should be good to go for your fantasy roster as well. Now on to tight ends 11 through 20. So if you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. At number 11, we have Dallas Goedert going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a great matchup, just like I touched upon with Zach Ertz. Obviously, Ertz is the number 1 guy there, but that doesn't mean that will stop Dallas Goedert from putting up a very solid game up against a not-so-good Bengals defense. At number 12, we have Eazy-E, Evan Ingram going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I am in no kind of range of feeling to trust him. I feel like after 11, I feel very untrustworthy with any of these guys. They all definitely have a lot of upside, but they're not guys that I'm really trusting going into this week. Evan Ingram has disappointed not 1, but 2 weeks in a row. Now going up against the San Francisco 49ers, which obviously is a banged-up defense, but still a solid coach defense, so I'm not sure Evan Ingram's going to be able to get it done. Obviously, a big option for Daniel Jones in the red zone. It just seems like they have not been on the same page the last 2 games. At number 13, we have TJ Hawkins going up against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Now, he has not looked good at all this season. Just hasn't. So you're really relying on a touchdown in this game. Now, the Arizona Cardinals defense used to be literally the worst against the tight end last year. I could have played tight end, and I would have scored 3 touchdowns on the Arizona Cardinals because that's just how shit they were at blocking the tight end. Then they bring in this rookie. They draft him highly. This guy's covering the middle of the field. TJ Hawkinson likely not going to have a good game, but definitely has that upside there, being a nice red zone target for Matt Stafford. At 14, we have LT, not LaDainian Tomlinson, not Lawrence Taylor, Logan Thomas going up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Another pick where it's like, hey, who else is Dwayne Haskins going to throw the ball to? Besides Scary Terry and Steven Sims, seems like it'll be Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas has been relatively involved. Obviously not the safest pick, but an upside pick here because a lot of these guys back here, it's kind of like rolling the dice. and just guessing at this point. At number 15, we have Drew Sample, and yes, that is not a fake name. That is a real player, tight end of the Denver Broncos at Philadelphia. Not tight end of the Denver Broncos, I should say, of the Cincinnati Bengals. The colors just got messed up in my head. Both orange teams. Drew Sample, after CJ Uzomah went down last week, ended up playing quite well, and I expect him to play quite well still, considering Joe Burrow seems to really look for that tight end in the games. He did it in college, and he's going to continue to do it in the NFL, so I like Sample this week up against the Philadelphia Eagles. At number 16, we have Jordan Reed at the New York Football Giants. Now, I know you probably thought this guy was concussed, dead in a goddamn dirt, but now George Kittle is not playing. He's not going to play. And Jordan Reed has been looking good looked good last week when George Kittle was out. So when Kittle's out, I feel very confident starting Jordan Reed on a weekly basis due to the fact that the tight end is very well implemented into the game plan. Now, understand it's Nick Mullins, not Jimmy Guap, but I still think Jordan Reed could play well in that situation, especially up against a not-so-good New York Football Jets defense. At number 17, we have Austin Hooper going up against the Washington Football Team. Now, last week, Austin Hooper had that cupcake matchup up against the Cincinnati Bengals and did absolutely nothing with it. It's not because the Bengals are elite at blocking a tight end. It's because Baker just doesn't look for Austin Hooper. So I have about zero confidence in Austin Hooper. He's a big name. He's a big player and a very good player at that, but it just seems like Baker Mayfield does not have the connection with him or just does not look for him. So I got him at 17. The guys behind him probably have more upside than him. But if Baker was to ever figure it out, Hooper would be better. At number 18, we have Chris Herndon going up against the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Now, this is the perfect time for Chris Herndon to get involved. All the fucking wide receivers of the New York Football Jets are dead. They're deceased. They took the big dirt nap. But at the end of the day, fucking Adam Gase is too busy snorting coke, too busy dialing up the number of some local strippers or something, because I have no idea what this guy is doing. He just doesn't game plan. They have no wide receivers. Sam Darnold's getting plowed in the backfield, and there's nothing they can do about it. And Chris Herndon is wide open on like every play. Chris Herndon is blocking. He's not being used as much as a fucking pass catcher, and it makes no sense. Adam Gase is such a fucking idiot because Chris Herndon should be able to be a top 10 tight end on this year, a top 10 tight end on this week, but instead, he's better sitting on your bench because I just cannot trust Adam Gase. At number 19, we have Mo Cox. Mo Money, Mo Cox going up against the New York Football Jets. Premier matchup here up against the Jets. Last week, Jack Doyle out. Mo Cox balls out because Phillip Rivers loves that tight end. I make this joke every time I talk about him, but it's because there's a reason this man has 12 fucking kids. It's because he likes that tight end, and Mo Cox should be able to have a solid game and a safe game here up against the New York Football Jets. Probably the safest out of Hooper, Herndon. Now we got Cox, and at 20, we have Eric Ebron going up against the Houston Texans. Now, Eric Ebron this year looked like one of those guys that was going super late that had the potential to be a top 12 tight end on the year. Turns out our assessment on Eric Ebron was straight up wrong. Not mine, because I didn't think he'd be that good, but a lot of people kind of talked him up. Doesn't look all that good here. Just seems like Big Ben's rather throwing it to the wide receivers than throw it to the tight ends. And with Vance McDonald still involved on the team, definitely not a guy I'm looking to start, but still a top 20 guy because he could obviously crawl into the end zone up against the Houston Texans. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Again, if you ended up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win your 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. So have a great rest of your guys' day. Check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. I'll see you motherfuckers later with another banger of a video. Goodbye!